Does anybody else find that January really drags? It really sucks. It seems to go on forever. But what do we do about it? We decided, who doesn't love a road trip with an overnight stay? What better way to spice up the end of a miserable January, miserable only because of the weather and the state of the country, and do something completely different, and something that won't break the bank. Nearly every Friday from 4:30 onwards, we meet up for what we like to call our very own Cobra meeting. We debate all the things that we think are wrong, but by the time we've had 4 pints, we fix the whole country. It does sometimes make us wonder why our so-called great and good find it so difficult. But anyway, swiftly moving on. A few Fridays ago, we hatched a plan to go on this road trip to Portsmouth Dockyard. Despite our ages, we decided not to enlist the help of Saga. Other travel companies are available, but we will organise it ourselves. If we can fix the country every Friday, I'm pretty sure we can organise this. So, hotel booked, fuel in the cars, bags packed, route planned, meeting times agreed, table for dinner booked, itinerary for the dockyard visit agreed. We just need the weather to be kind, as this is mostly outside. On the drive down, I said to Claire, I've just thought of something really interesting. At which point, she clearly faked a yawn and pretended to fall asleep. Undeterred, my interesting thought was going to get told and heard anyway. I was born and raised in the East End of London. The whole family lived mostly in and around the areas of Stepney, Bethnal Green and Mile End. Sadly now, totally unrecognisable. The whole family supported West Ham United. Now this is where it gets interesting, I think. West Ham United were originally called Thames Ironworks, a football team created for the shipbuilders of East London. The most famous ship built there was, arguably, HMS Warrior, which now lives at Portsmouth Dockyard. By the time I was 10, we had moved out of London. Dad didn't like what he was seeing happening to the East End, so he moved us all down to Kent, to Gillingham to be precise. Gillingham also has a football team, which I have adopted as my second team, my local team. Now this is where the interesting bit continues. Gillingham were originally called New Brompton FC, Brompton originally being a very militarised area within the shadow of Chatham Dockyard and the surrounding area of Gillingham. Much like the East End of London, where streets and neighbourhoods all blur into one area, the area I now currently live in, known as Medway. Chatham Royal Dockyard has its own 500-year, very rich history. No more impressive than the building of HMS Victory, Admiral Nelson's flagship at the Battle of Trafalgar. Possibly one of the most famous ships in the world, which now also lives at Portsmouth Dockyard. So there's the interesting bit. Two of the most famous ships in British naval history, both built in the only two places I've ever lived, which gave birth to the two football teams that I now watch, who both changed their names. Now that's interesting. It's only a 2-star, but it's a good 2-star. And what it's got is, look at the proximity. There's HMS Warrior. There's the dockyard entrance.
Then I went to go Central London, I said, I've got to turn around.
It's where they all meet. It's not through there. If you're not through there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, they do it here.
Yeah.
What was you saying about that, Tim?
So the lady was just telling us
Yeah.
that is one of the sails, or the same size sail as on Victory.
Is it?
And a local artist has drawn all those faces, and there is the amount of people was the amount of crew
Yeah.
on board Victory. There's some really famous faces on there apparently. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, I can see right in the middle.
Oh yeah.
But there's some really famous people around it, and you've got to spot them.
The middle one is Schwarzenegger, and then
Montgomery.
just to the right is Montgomery,
Just
Eisenhower.
Churchill,
Churchill.
and then Bomber Harris, I reckon that is.
Bomber.
Yeah.
I reckon that's Bomber.
Here we have a landing craft in working order, and you can charter it out for, well, the cheapest one is a 1 hour charter,
No, 20-minute charter. Charter
Sorry.
1, 20 minutes for £100.
£100 with 10 guests. That's only a tenner each for 20 minutes on the water in a landing craft. That's quite good. I remember somebody famous saying this phrase not so long ago. I can't remember who said it. And they said, what's the one thing that never goes out of fashion? Nostalgia. Never goes out of fashion. Women at work, eh, darling?
Harbour Tour.
I think they're the motor torpedo boats, or coastal boats you can hire out for the day. Welcome to the A team. The A standing for alcohol.
Video, radar and closed circuit television. As a passenger boat, we have to report into this tower when we launched May the 7th, 1765. Built as a first-rate, three-deck ship of 102 guns. She was in the harbour. Those feared she might sink at her mooring, so they moved her into number 2 dry dock for a floating hospital. 28,000 tons. Now everything you'll find in a hospital, you'll find on this vessel. We've got various operating theatres, a very own casualty, general wards, CT scanner, £1 billion each. She's 70,000 tons, 280 metres in length, 39 metres across. There's 11 metres of her under the water. From the flight deck down, she's actually got 9 decks. Propelled by 2 Rolls-Royce MT-30 turbines, producing some 48,000 horsepower. Those are top speed at tops with a range of 10,000 nautical miles. Now she's carrying the new F-35 Lightning Strike multi-role fighter planes, built in America at a cost of £100 million each. Helicopters, she carries Cheese, Merlins and Wildcats. Now depends on what she's sent out to sea to do, depend on what aircraft she actually takes with her. 2 large lifts to get the air below up to the very large air deck. On the air deck, the 2 accommodation blocks. The rear one is flight control. Round the corner, P224, which is HMS Trent. She's one of our Batch 2 River Class patrol vessels. Got 6 of these. Very rarely see them in Portsmouth, normally stationed abroad, offshore territories, but there you go, here she is. 95 metres in length, speeds of well over 20 knots, very fast these ships, and a crew of 55 on board. Ahead of her, D-33 HMS Dauntless, one of our Type 45 destroyers. We've got 6 of these, built at a cost of £1 billion each. 7,350 tons, 152 metres in length, 21 metres across. Top speed 29 knots. And to detect and track some 2,000 flying objects at any one time. On the back deck, they either carry a Merlin or Wildcat 100 rounds a minute, with a range of 1,500 metres. Any incoming targets, such as missiles or planes, it will automatically lock onto the closest. Merchant seaman. This is one of the tankers. 31,000 tons, 196 metres in length when she's in service. It's in fact 60% of all the bananas eaten in the UK here in Portsmouth. Now as we do our turn, you'll also see our ferry port. This is opened in 1976, 5 berths here in total, makes it one of the busiest ferry ports in the UK today. In fact, it's second to Dover.
you warm?
Left is my side at the entrance to the town camper. I can find it parked there. It's not there at the moment.
You running?
Yes!
Oh, we'll meet you in the profits. Oh, the white ferry coming in. 26 times I did that on my scooter.
280 foot in length, 58 foot across. The marsh you see on the Warrior, then 200 foot in height. So, folks, we'll shortly be arriving back at the historic docks. For those who joined us here, that concludes your tour of us. Enjoyed your time on board, if you have, and of course, if you wish to, parking will be available to leave the boat, just to show your appreciation.
Thames Iron Works. And this is what they built. HMS Warrior. At the time of construction, HMS Warrior was the biggest ship on the planet, and it has been argued that for 10 years the sheer presence of this mighty ship kept world peace. Say that again for me.
Warrior was built by West Ham. Very well, actually. In
Told ya.
18 months.
Now that is an alarm clock and a half, isn't it? It really doesn't escape you. This is a ship built for war. Whether it's the cannonballs on the floor, everywhere. War cannonballs, shells, rifles.
Just a number, right? But because we've got over 700 men on a ticket.
Just having a quiet minute, wondering to myself, in the heat of battle, that this ship never saw, but what would it have been like for all them to be going off at the same time? Deafening. Look at that for a bit of rope work. On the chains. Amazing. Designed to rock with the motion of the ship, I imagine. Going down backwards, darling.
Yeah, I'll say.
Mangles for drying your clothes. Look.
bathroom. Oh, I bet that was warm. As I'm wandering around this ship, I'm struck by the contrast between modern electronics and the old-fashioned way of pulleys, ropes, levers, manpower. What's more impressive? It's not the biggest anchor in the world, but it was at the time.
Let's see what ship. You'll see Victory in a minute.
I don't remember it looking like that. It's going to be like that for another 10 years. I'll never see it again. We can still see the front of it just poking out. It still really freaks me out that that was built just a few miles down the road from where we live. And when I go on my walks, that sailed right past where we live when it was launched. It still amazes me, that does. That's what I think about sometimes when I'm walking. I think about this magnificent ship.
December 1805, on his 47th birthday, Admiral Nelson had the captains of the 27 ships in the British fleet here for supper, where he explained his proposed tactics for the upcoming battle. You may think IKEA are fairly funky with their flat pack furniture, but the Georgian Navy were way ahead of transportation and storage. Sometimes they don't go back up twice these days, they should. Thank God I have done my duty, when he was told that they'd won the battle, and not over the side, Hardy, not over the side, because even on his deathbed, Nelson had his eye on posterity. He didn't want to be buried at sea and quickly forgotten, so when he died, they put his body into a liga, which is the equivalent of 4 big English beer barrels, so 144 gallons of French brandy. He was kept in that for the 6.5 days that it took HMS Neptune to tow her to Gibraltar, where emergency repairs were carried out.
Got a duck. Here's an interesting fact. The anchor only weighed 4 tons, but with the rope underwater, once soaked, was an extra 6 tons, 10 tons in weight, 120 men, 4 hours to raise the anchor. You didn't go anywhere in a hurry. We are actually walking right underneath HMS Victory. Feels really bizarre. Like it's going to come down on top of us. Look at that. Look at them timbers. This is the ongoing 12-year restoration project, and when you look at these timbers, you can see why she needs it.
After years of careful planning, on a cold, wet day in October 1982, the hull of the Mary Rose was raised from the seabed.
Ships are close to England. Their fearsome war galleys harassing my ships and raiding our coast. Against this, I have but 80 vessels anchored here at Portsmouth Haven. Anticipating fierce battle, I have gathered my captains for a council of war on my flagship and placed men atop the mast to keep watch. My
I'm stuck. Won't let me out. If I never get out, I love you.
Oh, all right now.
I don't know why I'm pushing for it.
You're not going to be in it. What one was yours, mate? That one?
No, I don't like it.
Oh, he's got all shy now.
Get away from
Does he still have to give 18 months?
Cheers, boys! Cheers, boys! We all congratulated ourselves on doing the right thing, leaving a very lively pub we were quite happy in for a pre-booked recommended meal at this place, the Spice Island Inn.
24 hours a day.
As recommended, the meal was very good, but we missed the liveliness of the pub, so we went back.
This may well only be a 3-star rated accommodation, but it's quite a nice one. It has a very nautical nod to the history of Portsmouth and the dockyard, owned by the Chinese, obviously, with a nod to the Orient. A nice mixture. And a good breakfast. The good thing about coming at the end of January, beginning of February, 1st of February, is it's not packed, and we got very lucky with the weather because it's quite mild. It feels like you've got the place to yourself. There's literally no one around. Your ticket lasts for a year once you bought it, so we've had our breakfast and we thought we'd come for a final stroll about before heading home, and it's as much as I've enjoyed our little road trip away, I'm feeling a little sadness creeping over me. Looking at these magnificent ships fills me with a sense of pride, a sense of national pride increasingly frowned upon by certain sections of our society at the moment, a sense of patriotism I can only seem to find these days in our military, our past, and worryingly in museums. Is that what I am witnessing? The future of Great Britain is to become a museum?